order the January 5th, 2021 Madison Redevelopment Commission meeting. First order of business is the election of officers. We have on the slate for president, vice president, and secretary. Previous to this, there were nominations and acceptance of all officers. Myself repeating as vice president, Dan Hughes as vice president, and Joe Craig as secretary. So could I get a motion to approve the slate of officers for 2021?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
Good deal.
Thank you. Next order of business, approval of minutes from December 15th meeting. Everybody had a chance to review those? Any questions, comments, or changes? Make a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Next order of business, claims approvals.
Should have the claims in front of you guys circulating.
Yep, so several claims in front of us. Everyone's had a chance to review those claims and approve them as written. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Approved. Thank you. Going on to new business. First order of business is 2021 capital project plan update.
Mr. President and Board, the Mayor and I will certainly comment. I'll go first here briefly. This was put together in conjunction with several meetings the Mayor and I have had over the past 6 weeks or so on our priorities for the city of Madison and how the Redevelopment Commission can, in their role, assist the city with these projects and how we can help finance them and try to kind of prioritize them. And in conjunction with Reedy, and Parker can jump in here as well as the mayor, we've put together, I think, a pretty comprehensive list of projects moving forward for the next couple of years. And this reflects our initiative of Clean, Safe, and Beautiful. And again, quality of life projects that are very important to not only our downtown but our entire city. So with that, we can go through primarily looking at page 8 in your report, page 7 and 8 basically, but page 8 really has our list. So with that, I don't know, Mayor, if you want to add to that, or Parker, on how we got to these numbers, or
I'll just mention that this combination of things. At the last city council meeting, we had to adopt per Indiana code a capital improvement plan at city council per an executive order, because the city of Madison receives a share of local income tax annually. And we have to describe to the state on how we intend to spend those dollars, on what type of capital development projects we're going to spend them on over the course of each of those 3 years to spend that money in order to be entitled to receive the money. If we don't adopt that plan, then that money is essentially captured by the county and held until we do adopt a plan, and then eventually those funds could be forfeited and spread out amongst the other municipalities inside Jefferson County. So at the last city council meeting, we did adopt a capital improvement plan. And the reason I bring that up is because we receive revenue from 2 sources. It's from different forms of taxes through the city budget, and then it's also capturing revenue through the TIF district. Both of those flow into an overall citywide list of priorities for capital improvement projects. On the city side, it amounts to about $1 million a year, almost $1 million where that tax revenue is generated. And then it's a little, around $1.4 million, $1.5 million or so a year through the TIF district. So we have to decide how we're going to spend those money and what those priorities are, and that's what's reflected here. Some of the commitments that are in here had already been made prior to this year, so it's a continuation of setting aside funds each year for that ultimate big price tag. And then some things are about what do we do this year. And what we really wanted to do this year is more planning. And so you'll see as we go through this list, dollars set aside for broader surveys to really give us a strategic plan on how to best spend the money. You know, we know that we have deteriorating sidewalks, we have streets, we have utility improvement projects, we've got drainage issues. We have a huge historic district that we haven't updated the historic survey on it in the course of a couple of decades. So as we go through here, a lot of it is spending money through redevelopment for the plan, which then will translate into the action items and the list of priorities. So kind of walking through this, if I might, for 2021, you'll see on page, let me start with page 7, 2021. We kind of went through and did a whole list of things that we were already working on, such as the Stellar projects, the grocery store, the Regatta Overlook, the 3 Stellar projects I mentioned, Wilson Avenue. There had also been a commitment already made for the Clifty Drive sidewalks, which will happen in the course of the next few years. So we've updated this redevelopment plan to include setting aside monies to pay for some of those big price tags. And overall, it shows that we do need to go out and borrow money in order to fully fund this plan or curtail back the plan. But this is really for discussion purposes, except for the Stellar projects, which are already commitments on the books. And we know that we're, from a cash flow perspective, 2 things. One is we're not going to spend more than the revenue that we take in. That's an absolute fact right there. But if we plan right, we can go out and identify these big ticket dollar projects and then go borrow the money once that will fund us for the next 3 years. And right now we estimate that amount to be about $3 million. It could be on the low side. If we have something really happen this year, you know, our 2 big economic development projects, one downtown, one on the hilltop, is the shopping center redevelopment on the hilltop and then the grocery store downtown. We are still under a purchase agreement for the hilltop shopping center site, although the redevelopment activity has been impaired by the COVID crisis because that has dramatically affected the retail market. But that will come back and we'll start working on that again. Grocery store, still #1 economic development priority for downtown, and we've met with several operators, but nothing has come to fruition yet with a specific operator, but we still have monies in here as placeholders. But we can take this under advisement and have additional conversations along the way as these priorities take shape. And then if it does become a reality, we'll really be able to then go out and say it's $3 million is enough or $5 million is what it's going to take in order to bring some of those investments to fruition. So it's a mixed bag of things relative to economic development of distressed areas. It's also about infrastructure, and again, it's about affordable housing, doing things that we can to help the community out for quality of place investments, as well as infrastructure, affordable housing, and redeveloping a couple of these sites that are frankly blighted now.
To piggyback off of Mayor, when you guys look at this plan, the page 8 is going to look slightly new to you. It's the same general landscape as page 7, which is going to be your current year financials. So as the months go on, you see those invoices, or you see the amounts you guys have paid currently throughout the year. You see that detail. But in hopes of showing you guys, as Mayor was mentioning, of creating like a more of a structured capital plan, we felt the need that maybe looking more into the future than just 2 years was important for you guys. So page 8, really, it's the same general numbers. Nothing's going to change between page to page. Really, what the biggest aspect of page 8, though, is going to be is allowing you guys to see more than just 2 years in advance. So some of these projects, like the loan payback, or some of these other items that you guys have that are reoccurring for an annual basis, or as you guys, as Mayor mentioned, starting to set aside money to plan in advance for a larger project, the 5-year look is going to help you guys see what do we have 3 years in the future, 4 years in the future, et cetera. So hopefully you guys do see the great value added to this page. I think this is extremely beneficial for Madison as you continue to drill down and create a really all-encompassing capital plan.
Board, we just wanted you to have this as a first look, and as the mayor indicated, certainly please review and anxious for your comments and questions, and can be a working document here in our, this month.
Yeah, I like the longer term look. I think it's good to keep an overall look to see where you want to go and where the community wants to go. I think one of the things that would help also as we start to build this out is to group these into those type of areas where it's important for the community and also important for you as the mayor to say this is where we want to spend quality of life, or where we're going to spend affordable housing, or we're going to spend what kind of projects we're focused on to ensure that we understand where the money's going. I think from my perspective that would help
Okay.
ensure that we're supporting what we need to support. Does this become, do we have to go to another step for this to become part of the actual plan?
There's two parts of that. We already have the redevelopment plan that was approved, I think maybe around 2017-ish. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the basis. A lot of what is in these projections are actually a part of what the redevelopment plan has already been approved.
Okay.
So right now, there's nothing that we need to do to go through plan commission or city council, because we're not recommending amending anything.
Okay.
As you know, John, last year, we did amend the redevelopment plan to bring in the Hilltop Shopping Center project. As we progress, we'll try to figure out if some of the broader categories that was approved in 2017, if they don't apply to a specific objective, then we would need to modify our redevelopment plan. But also, there's, again, just keep in mind as well that there's capital investments that we're making through the city's operating budget, and then there's those that are specifically coming from TIF revenues. And I think that there's frankly a lot of overlap, and we'll figure out where those sources of dollars need to come from, or if they need to come from both sources in order to accomplish the single objective.
Do we need to build a plan in for those opportunities that come our way that are not a part of what we see? I mean, I know we've had a lot of things thrown at us over my tenure here on the board, which we don't know that are going to come up.
Yeah.
And we need to have money or some kind of planning to be able to take advantage of those when they do come and they meet the requirements or whatever the goals are that you're.
I think that's a really good point, and I mean, really another way to say that is, should we go ahead and borrow money to deal with the things we know we have to do now in order to preserve that cash for a future opportunity that's unidentified?
Right.
I think it's a really smart question, and we should probably consider that, because there's a lot of there's a lot of time, there's a lot of forward time that's involved in borrowing money because of the complicated nature of having to do it, and it's expensive. And we just need to make sure we get it right so that we get the right amount that's covering the project. But at the same time, the benefit is we can attack those projects that are on here immediately rather than spreading them out over 3 to 5 years. We need to put some more thought into that. Planning is everything. I think that you're asking exactly the right questions. And we know that we could probably between the city and redevelopment spend $10 million right now if we put our mind to it.
Right.
I know personally working with these two gentlemen is that going to the 5-year projections is definitely heading in the direction of what you guys your minds are heading, as well as how do we look past just year 1 and 2, and like you said, as these new things at the table, not have to sit there and think long term if you're going to say yes or no to this, instead being able to, on almost like a whim, say yes with confidence. So definitely think we're moving in the right direction for sure.
It'd be interesting, I don't know if there's any statistics on other TIF districts of similar size, what would be a strategic cash position to maintain. It seemed like for the longest period of time, the redevelopment commission, would have between $3 to $5 million because it went for a period of years where it wasn't making big expenditures. And then over the last several years, particularly with the expansion of the TIF district, the EDAs to downtown, and there was more quality of place investments being made, the capital needs got larger and quicker. And then to add to that, the accelerated repayment of the last debt issue really kind of hampered us from a cash position. So I think we do need to kind of reload, but maybe, I don't know, Parker, if there is a rule of thumb on how much cash we should be maintaining in redevelopment at any point in time, so that we could be opportunistic when the time arose.
The quick answer to that, Mayor, would be as long as we're, one, covering debt payments, we need to keep that debt coverage there. That's the bottom line, which for you guys is not a high percentage compared to your overall revenues. So at that point, I think it would be just really up to the board on what you guys felt was a good balance of that teeter-totter there of how much is too much cash on hand, how much isn't enough. So obviously you can tell the 5-year plan, once you get 3 years out, you do start to greatly increase your cash balance. So to that point there is setting something so you do feel comfortable spending stuff and feeling like you're not going to be hampering yourself in 3-4 months by spending down too much. So I think that's purely just a discussion to be had amongst all of us here and setting that in place.
At the next meeting, we'll make some recommendations, so I think that's exactly the direction we need to go.
Something we might want to consider to help with that and aid with that is to maintain the projected and actual for the past years as well. So this is our 2021 projected, let's lock it in, and then let's show that in the past years as well, so we have a gauge on, we projected this, our actual is this, and it can help us potentially make better decisions going forward and also gain a better understanding of what we will need. But I do like the strategic plan that you're putting together and helping us put together to aid us to get better decisions to distribute this very important fund that we're responsible for dealing with here. So I appreciate your work on this.
Absolutely.
Okay. John, anything else?
Any other questions or comments? No? Next order of business, Reedy Financial Group service contract.
What you have in front of you is their proposed contract. It is very similar to what was provided to us for the last 6 months of 2020 for their service contract. I think it just echoed what you've just seen. Their service has been invaluable to the commission. I know certainly to myself, it's helped with my workload in terms of really providing the board and the mayor with the numbers and the path forward on how we can make sound financial decisions for the city and the redevelopment commission. So obviously I'd like you to review their contract, but I would urge recommendation of that at our next meeting. So I think it's really money well spent to really simplify it.
Okay, so this is for, so we'll discuss at the next meeting, and then the contract was for a 1-year contract, or is it longer?
So just to clarify real fast is we do have an overlying contract with the city that has no set expiration date. It's just kind of upon termination on either side. If you choose to, then it's good. What this in front of you is, it's more recently we wanted to take more of a clarifying approach with what you guys are expecting from us. We don't want to do an enormous amount that almost could be seen as too much, and then you guys not necessarily want that level of services. So just to clarify between us and you guys, what you guys have in front of you is simply that. It's what can we do for you as far as in making that clear, make sure that we're meeting our goals, and then we will go above and beyond that still, but just making sure that you guys truly know that what you guys are paying for every month, and this is what, it's easier for you guys to see that instead of constantly needing to clarify with us. So if you guys do have any questions on what each of those points is, what it entails, I'd be happy to answer any one of them for you.
And just to point out, and you'll see there are increasingly, the state seems to come out with increasing regulation from time to time as it relates to TIF and redevelopment commissions. There are several deadlines we have to meet throughout the year, certain reports that have to be prepared, information pulled for those reports. This also helps us do that. I've done that in the past and can continue to do that, but it's nice to know we have an expert as well that can help make sure, first and foremost, we stay within the Indiana code and the rules like we're supposed to, so in regards to operating this commission.
So, which plan did we elect 6 months ago?
So to clarify, what you guys currently do have, what you're paying for currently is going to be on page 1, under plan update, you have the monthly plan updates. Getting a new plan with all your claims and all those items updated monthly in front of you guys for each one of these meetings. And then on page 2, what we currently have within the contract is going to be the statutory reporting requirements. So as Matt just touched on, we are assisting at any level, making sure that whatever you guys are owed to the state of Indiana per Gateway and DLGF, making sure we're checking out those boxes in a timely manner before any of the deadlines as they approach. So, for example, the TIF, the presentation we gave a couple months ago, that was basically the final one of the statutory requirements. So.
Any other questions?
I know we're going to make a decision on the next meeting, but what is that, the monthly plan, the recommendation that you're making?
That's what, yes, Ian, that's my recommendation certainly to the board.
Are you recommending any of the extras?
The one extra would be the annual reporting requirement. Actually, the extras would be the first 3 bullet points for the 7,500 annually as well.
To be honest with you guys, something that we have seen is right now, obviously we see we've got a lot of work, a lot of ground moving to be done to the plan, everything. We've definitely moved quite a bit since stepping into the role we're currently in. Let's say a year down the road, or just throw out a number there, where you guys feel like this plan is in excellent position, and outside of just approving the claims, you guys don't necessarily need this per month. At any point, we'll be gladly to move into a quarterly update, to where at that point we do quarterly updates. We'll still be here on the month to month if you guys have any questions or anything, but by no means do you feel like as soon as you sign this, you guys are set in stone, to where if you feel like it's more redundant for the month to month, there's nothing wrong with moving to quarterlies. So however you guys see fit and the city sees fit and everything. So.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Okay, next up, city matters.
I don't have a whole lot to add that I didn't elaborate on earlier, just that first I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys. This is an extremely important board that has a significant role in the community. So thank each and every one of you, and Joe, who's not here, for all your all's participation too. This year is also going to be a lot about planning. I mean, now that I've got 12 or 14 months under my belt, and we have a bit of a direction of what we want to accomplish in the next 3 years, it's really time to put those into planning and into action. And that's why spending money or investing money in getting some more comprehensive plan work done is going to be extremely important, so we know that what are the greatest impacts that we can make across the community that accomplish the key initiatives that we have, which are public safety and economic opportunity and quality of life initiatives. So we'll be spending the right amount of investment on planning. We're advocates for knowing where we're going, and the old saying that if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. We want a path. We know that we've got to make some impact across the community. It's going to cost a lot of money to do so. Not just through redevelopment, but we're also having the same conversations through our park board and taking care of some things that have been deferred, because we believe that we have an exceptional community and we need to invest in our community, and that's what's going to attract businesses, tourists, people to move here and create stability and increase property tax values. All of that's going to have circular impact on the broader community and the finances. And I don't want to leave out the school system either, because we also enjoy fantastic school system that we want to continue to support across the community too, so. Not a whole lot to add other than that, but we have a lot on our plates, and we'll keep you guys informed as things progress over the next few months.
Any questions or comments for the mayor or Matt? Go ahead, Dan.
No.
One thing that would be helpful, I think, as we go through the remainder of the year, not today, but get an update on the condo, some of the major projects that we have going on. Just, I think they're progressing, but it would be nice to get some kind of update on.
We can have specific folks that are kind of daily involved with those come in and give you a quick
Just
5-minute
update, I'd
overview.
like that on.
All right.
Good.
Great. No other business. Our next meeting is February 2nd, 3 o'clock. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Talking about February.